And when people ask me, what's the one thing you want to be remembered as an NHL player?
The last word on a wonderful career belongs to the fans.
But if somebody says, you know what, you worked as hard as any player I ever saw, that's the proudest thing I can hear from a fan.
Wayne Gretzky is one of those stories that exemplifies the path of growth and dedication, but also the pressures and adversity that come with living up to great expectations.
Pure talent and desire lifted the prodigy to organized hockey at the age of 6. From there, it was a short leap to full coast-to-coast fame.
Wayne always had a lot of eyes on him, even from a very young age, but none were more influential than his father's, Walter Gretzky.
Walter Gretzky is sort of the quintessential hockey father that you like to read about and seldom see.
My dad was sort of this hockey father of the country.
Wally. You call him Wally. How'd you know me?
Everyone knows you.
But Walter was always much more than a hockey dad, and teaching Wayne countless lessons and priceless wisdom that would stay with him throughout his entire life.
My dad was tough. He was a hands-on father.
The lessons that Wally taught Wayne, I think, really were ingrained in Wayne's consciousness.
He knew the importance of keeping Wayne grounded, being a father first.
My dad was always under the understanding of go to school, get your education, play sports, and that's fine. But you had to get your education.
It is undeniable that Walter was the sole influence of Wayne's introduction to the game and the development of his skill early on.
Wayne's father is a very special man. He'd take them out and he'd have them work out, and he told them that don't waste the time. Guys, do something constructive. Jump over the sticks, go around the pylons, learn how to shoot the puck. There was always seemingly a purpose to what he was doing. And he was blessed with at least one of the children who couldn't get enough of it. The harder he asked him to work, the harder Wayne worked at it.
It was seemingly the perfect situation. A kid with unbelievable natural talent and a mentor with all the right wisdom to develop him into a superstar.
I had a passion for it. I don't know why. I didn't think I was practicing. It was something that I just enjoyed, and I didn't feel like I was dedicating myself to anything. I didn't feel like I was sacrificing anything. I just felt that that's what I loved to do.
As Wayne continued to improve, it was becoming clear to Walter that he was bound for stardom.
Even when he was a little boy, you could tell he was going to be special.
But still, Walter always kept Wayne humble and on his toes.
My dad would be in the car, and after the game, he would say to me, his favorite line was always, no matter how good you think you are, there's somebody out there better than you.
Walter understood that Wayne had the chance to become more than just a great hockey player.
And the only advice my dad used to say was, you got a great opportunity here to really have a wonderful life.
Walter knew that Wayne had more to give to the game than just his skill. He could become a role model, a leader, an ambassador for the game. And skill wasn't enough. He needed to build up a strong character.
What his father told him at a very, very young age, that this is bigger than you, Wayne, that you can't have any bad games, Wayne, that people come to see you for hundreds of miles and you got to give them your best all the time.
Some say that this is too much pressure for a young kid, but Walter understood the opportunity they had, and he knew the challenges that lied ahead, the obstacles that had to be overcome, both physically and mentally.
And intuitively, Wayne Gretzky understood that it was not enough just to play on the ice, that he had to be charming, that he had to be sweet.
Walter's parenting style was definitely uncommon, but for a kid to be getting so much attention, looking back, it was necessary.
At 10 years old, he was swamped by other 10-year-olds for autographs. By 13, he was on National Hockey Night in Canada. So he's grown up sort of like John F. Kennedy Jr. He's been the Prince of Canada.
His endless practice and love for the game put him miles ahead of his peers, even playing with kids much older than him.
The first year he ever played, he was 6 years old. The youngest traveling team we had at that time were 10-year-old boys. He made that team.
He was unstoppable, putting up 378 goals and 139 assists in his 5th season. That's a total of 517 points in 85 games. However, there was a problem that had been escalating over the years. As Wayne continued his success, he came face to face with his first taste of adversity.
While you're a young person, a young boy going through these years of just lighting up a scoreboard, there was also some resentment.
Parents of other kids were terribly jealous.
The envious parents or the people who were not happy about what I was accomplishing made it very difficult for me. I was a normal kid, and it just became a point where I said to my mom and dad one day, you know, I really hate going to the arena. This is not fun.
It was an unprecedented situation, but Wayne, he had been prepared for this sort of thing.
I'll never forget, I was watching a Hockey Night Canada game, my dad and I, Saturday nights that we used to watch every game. And Bobby Orr was playing in Toronto, and every time he got the puck, my dad would say, listen to how the people boo. And I remember sitting there, and my dad said, they only boo you because they like you. If they're not booing you, then that means you're not very good.
Walter always knew what to say, a piece of wisdom for every situation. And Wayne absorbed these lessons like a sponge.
So the pressure never bothered me. My dad used to say, you know what, that's part of life. Pressure is part of life. You got to learn how to accept it and deal with it from a young age, because it's going to be there for forever.
But regardless of how Wayne accepted his new celebrity-type situation, the real truth was that Wayne was too good for the league. He had outgrown hockey in Brantford, and if he wanted to improve, he had to play at a higher level and face some tougher opponents.
And a gentleman came along and he said, I'd love you to come and live in Toronto. And I said to my dad, I said, you know, I think this is a good thing for me.
For Wayne, the next step was moving to the big city to play junior hockey.
You as a child
moving away from
home.
And I moved to Toronto, an hour away, and went and lived with a family I had never met before. That's part of what being junior hockey is all about.
But where one problem was solved, another quickly took its place.
The minors like to get the most talented kids, and this can lead to bitter squabbling.
Locals of the league didn't take so kindly a small town talent taking the place of others.
I wasn't the first kid who ever done it. There was 3 or 4 kids every year that did it.
But with Wayne, of course, his treatment was different.
Because I was a little bit more in the limelight, the Canadian Minor Hockey Association stepped in and said, okay, we got to stop this. They wanted to make an example out of me.
Take the case of 14-year-old Wayne Gretzky playing in this game. He used to play in Brantford, Ontario, but the Toronto Nationals wanted him badly because he's a superstar.
The situation was complicated, and the truth was, Wayne didn't just move away to play hockey.
What would it mean to his career? Well, we weren't concerned about his career.
His parents wanted him to get out from under the spectacle of his small-town fame.
All we were concerned about is letting him live a life like everybody else, a 14-year-old boy.
That was the bottom line. I moved away from home to be a normal high school student. People thought I went there to enhance my hockey career. I didn't. And that's what was so sad about them suspending me.
Do you think they have the right to decide this? No, they can't tell me where to send my own boy. If he's going to be happy elsewhere, that's our decision. It's not theirs.
The league ultimately made their decision, and Wayne was no longer allowed to play. It came as a shock to the Gretzky family, but it wouldn't stay that way for long. Wayne knew better than to let it get to him. He was taught better than to let it get to him. He stayed committed and waited for his opportunity.
And out of the blue, this guy calls me and says, you should come and play junior hockey. Now, junior hockey is 20 and under. I was 14 years old. I was a kid still. So I said to my dad, what do you think? And my dad, I could see him, he was kind of shaking. He was so nervous, he went outside, oh, you can't play here, you can't play here.
The realization had washed over him. Walter knew it was time to let go.
I think, I look back at it, and I think it was the hardest thing in his life that he said to me, okay, you should move away from home at 14. He kept my first hockey team jacket, he collected my first sticks, kept my first trophy. And I would say, why? And he said, well, I just got a feeling one day, you know, these are going to be things that people are going to want to see. He didn't say it to push me or motivate me. He just really believed that. He really guided me, and without question, it made me the player that I am today.
All that time coaching, all those lessons of wisdom, Walter had poured everything he knew into raising Wayne. It was time for Wayne to take on the world. And the truth was, he was more than ready.
And the coach said, you know, you can play. And I played on that team, and sort of the rest is history.